Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. You may be distracted recently by what has happened with Bitcoin and the overall crypto market. And that is why in this video, I want to show you a clip from Cathie Wood of ARK Invest. Now, Cathie Wood is one of the most respected and well-known portfolio managers out there. She's also known as being a big Tesla bug, a very loyal Tesla follower, and also she is known as being a Bitcoin bug, someone that has been in Bitcoin and been studying Bitcoin for quite a long time. And in this video, she basically gives a rundown of what she sees coming up for 2021 with the new administration, with the Fed policy, monetary policy, right? And a whole lot of economic things. Now, I'm not going to show you the whole clip, but feel free to watch it because it is very informative and I bet you'll learn a lot from it. But she specifically talks about the dollar and what may happen if the dollar inflates and what are some situations that would actually cause the dollar to inflate even more. And of course, she talks about Bitcoin. So let me show you the video. Let me react to some of it and then give you my final thoughts. All right, so this is the video I want to show you guys. In total, it's about 36 minutes, so quite long, but I'm fast forwarding to the latter half of this video where she talks about the dollar, inflation, and of course, Bitcoin.
I think another variable we're watching very carefully here is the dollar. The dollar dropped roughly 7% last year. So we in the United States lost 7% in purchasing power relative to other currencies around the world. We also lost a bit to inflation, but inflation is low and may even be overstated because the statistics don't capture the digital economy and the deflationary impact of the digital economy that well. But if it does break down from here, the dollar, it will be a major breakdown if you just look at a long-term chart. And it will force the Fed. It's another variable that will force the Fed to reassess its position and perhaps the Treasury. So mentioning purchasing power on the innovation front, I'll just mention, I'll focus on Bitcoin. And as you know, Bitcoin has doubled in the last month or so. And it crossed the 20,000 peak from 2007 and has gone to 40,000. Well, what was very interesting this week, Jeff DeGraff, friend from RenMac, oops, excuse me, we have an interruption, sorry about that. Well, Jeff DeGraff from RenMac, he is a technician who also watches economic fundamentals as well as stock fundamentals, but he knows how to read charts and he's seen a lot of charts. And he said this Monday on his weekly summary, he said, "I've never seen anything like this." He said, usually when there's a parabolic move like Bitcoin enjoyed in 2017, it usually takes a generation for that asset or that stock or what have you, commodity, to get back to that peak. And what he means by generation, he means 10 to 20 years. And the fact that here we are after 3 years, when I heard him say that, first of all, he didn't know what to do with it, but I thought, wow, I've never heard him say that. That means this has happened very rarely. And in fact, he does not recall anything else looking like this.
Okay, I just had to stop right there because obviously Bitcoin is unlike anything else. It's not like any stock, right? It's not like gold or any other precious metal or commodity because Bitcoin is programmed differently. It's programmed to deflate. There's a halving event every 4 years, which is why the cycle traditionally has been 4 years. That is why Bitcoin has the ability to go from peak to peak within 3 years and not a generation like 10 or 20 years. So that's the difference.
I found that interesting. But I think part of this, or the follow through, might have been triggered by, again, the bond yield pushing, doing what many people did not expect it to do, forcing all kinds of questions. Have we made mistakes in monetary and fiscal policy that we are going that we're going to pay for in the future? And how are we going to pay for that? And most of us would say one of the ways typically is inflation, inflating our way out of government debt. And as you know, our preferred way at ARC of addressing this issue is to grow our way out of problems with innovation. So we're going to keep advocating for that, and of course advocate against inflation because it is the most regressive tax of all. I do believe that just the questions being raised by, is this money supply too much? Is the fiscal stimulus too much? Oh gosh, the Treasury bond yield has broken above this downtrend. No one expected that. What's happening? One of the questions could be, should I hedge myself against inflation? And I believe there is no better hedge against inflation than Bitcoin.
That's a powerful statement. I believe there is no better hedge against inflation than Bitcoin. Out of everything out there, the best hedge against inflation is Bitcoin, according to Cathie Wood.
And as we know, gold has been moving, although now it's lagging Bitcoin fairly dramatically. So it's probably, there's probably some share shift, but I do believe that both of them will do well over time until we find out the answer to this question. And I also am taking some confidence from the fact that we have individuals and companies calling us about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, saying, should we put some of our cash into Bitcoin? These are companies, and as you know, Square has done that, as has MicroStrategy. I think we're going to hear about more companies putting this hedge on their balance sheet as well, particularly tech companies, innovative companies who understand the technology and are comfortable with it. I also think that there's been more validation in the space when it comes to the regulators. So Brian Brooks at the OCC, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, has basically said that public blockchains can be used for the settlement of transactions, and banks can become nodes on those public blockchains. Well, that was like a bolt of lightning. I just never expected it. And I don't think anyone else did either, except perhaps for some in the crypto world who were working closely with the regulators, which it clearly has been the case. So again, big validation.
Yeah, just real quick. I did cover this story recently, but I think it just went in one year and out the year for most people because they don't really understand the impact it has. Basically, the banks are allowed to come up with their own stablecoin and utilize the blockchain to send transactions to each other or to themselves, right? This is a big validation of not only blockchain, but also stablecoins and basically crypto overall, right? So this is a huge thing that not a lot of people talk about. It's not very fancy, but you got to think about this is a big milestone. You know, just a few years ago, there's no way that the OCC would have approved this. But like Cathie said, approved out of nowhere. Probably some crypto projects been working with the OCC to make this happen, or maybe even the banks themselves because they have their own crypto, right? But this is also a big thing for the industry
out there. Now, this is going to help the banks cut their costs. But we do think that stable coins, which this will promote, are simply they're a bridge to what we believe will be more of a disintermediation of banks. And we will see more almost direct to consumer and businesses from the central banking systems of the world. So that will come in time. But in the meantime, this is a very exciting development. Certainly is getting everyone to study and learn much more about cryptocurrencies, blockchains, other crypto assets. And from an innovation point of view, we think we have miles to go. This is just the beginning. And to put that in perspective, today, I believe Bitcoin's the equivalent of market cap or network value is a little over $700 billion. And many people with it having doubled from 20,000 to 40,000, those sound like huge numbers. Actually, it's only a little over 700 billion. What does that mean? Well, Tesla is over 800 billion. These are both very big ideas, some of the biggest ideas I have ever come across in my investing lifetime, which has been a long time. So I've been in the business more than 40 years. Couldn't be more excited about all of the innovation taking place now. Never seen anything like it. And I really do think some wonderful days are ahead for the exponential growth trajectories that are going to deliver superior investment returns, no matter what the environment is.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because that's pretty much the end of it. I would like to remind you guys that I did create another video based on an interview from Cathie Wood not too long ago that talks about how she believes Bitcoin can one day reach $400 or maybe even $500,000 per Bitcoin because of what's happening with companies and institutions getting involved, replacing their gold with Bitcoin, and also because Bitcoin is such a disruptive technology. So as you can see, Cathie Wood, she knows what she's talking about, and she's very, very bullish on Bitcoin. All right, so what did you think about Cathie Wood, what she said? There's a few things, key points in there that she said that I think is really eye-opening. The friend that Cathie spoke to, the chartist, the one that said it takes a generation, usually it takes a stock 10 to 20 years to go from peak down and back to peak again. Well, it took Bitcoin only 3 years because Bitcoin is no stock and Bitcoin behaves very differently than all other stocks or commodities or precious metals out there, right? Also very interesting that she has people, and she even said people, companies, institutions coming to her asking her if they should buy Bitcoin as a hedge. Right? So all the stories we've been hearing about with Grayscale, with MicroStrategy, Mass Mutual, Fidelity, all these guys, right? They are true. She's verifying it. There are a lot of institutional investors that are very interested in buying Bitcoin, getting involved, and they're calling her directly to ask about it. So overall, I think this is a really good video, very informative. I love Cathie, the way she describes things, very down to earth. She doesn't seem like she's BSing you. It's not a sales pitch. It's a very natural conversation, and I really like it. So what do you think about what Cathie said and about Bitcoin? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're waiting for my next video, check out these two others.